These are the 5 myths of grief. These are the things that you need to know about your grief, particularly if you're early in your grief. These are the things that I wish I could shout from the rooftop. These are the things that most people get tripped up on. These are the things that you absolutely need to know. So stay here. My name is Catherine McNulty, and I founded Grief Inspired because I want to bring light to the darkness of grief. I want to give you hope as you embark on your grief journey. I want to give you support along the way, along with practical tools and things that you can do to take more control of your grief. And I want to encourage you to lean in and to do the work, because as Earl Groman says, the only path through grief is to grieve. So we're going to talk today about the top 5 myths of grief, starting with number 5. So the number 5th top myth of grief is I am not grieving right. I talk to so many people and who say, I just feel like I'm not grieving right. And I want to tell you that there is no right or wrong way to grieve. The only thing that might be wrong, like I said earlier, is if you don't grieve at all, is avoidance. So if you're not in complete denial and in complete avoidance, then I think you're doing the right thing. And the fact that you're here watching this video shows me that you're looking for answers, and that's a good thing. So you are doing grief. You're okay. Number 4, the number 4 myth of grief is, and I hear this all the time, I don't think I'll ever be happy again. And that is a myth, and it's a normal reaction, and we all feel that way, particularly early on. And part of the reason why I do this is because there wasn't anybody on my grief journey to tell me you can be happy again. You can survive your loss. And so I want to be that for you. I want to tell you that yes, you can survive the loss. You can be happy again. Is it easy? No. Will it require work? Yes. But you can be happy again. So number 3, the number 3 myth of grief is there isn't anything I can do. So often we feel like grief is happening to us, like the loss has happened, and whether it's expected or not, it still feels unexpected. And Dr. Susan Delaney, who I've been learning from lately, she says it this way. She says, this is not what I ordered. So, and we feel like that with our grief. When it happens to us, when we lose someone we love, we don't want that. And we want to push back on it. And we want to say, this is not what I ordered. But the reality is that you can do things to help you on your grief journey. So the myth is I can't do anything about it, because the reality is yes, you can. And there's so many different things. And what you're doing right now, educating yourself, trying to learn more, that is an amazing, amazing place to start. So keep doing that. Another way is with the grief journal that I recently released on Amazon. So it's called A Grief Journal. You can look on Amazon. You can just punch in my name, Catherine McNulty, and you'll see it pop right up. That will help you work through your grief. And we're going to be in my group. I have a Facebook group that's called Grief Inspired. No One Should Grieve Alone. We're going to be working through that book together. So if you're looking for things that you can do to support yourself, jump into that group on Facebook, and I'll create more videos here so that we can do it. We can do it together. So that was the top 3 myth. The top 2 myth is that people don't understand, and it feels very early in grief like no one understands, like you are the only one who is experiencing this. You are the only one who really understands what's going on with you. And in some ways, that can be true, because everybody's story is unique, and your perspective is unique. But the reality is that you don't want to use that myth to keep you isolated, to keep you stuck, and to keep you sad and depressed. Because the reality is that there are other people who do understand. I want to understand. There are other people in my Facebook group that you can connect with who also want to understand. So if you feel like no one understands, it's because you haven't found the right people. So I want to encourage you to keep looking, because the right people are out there and are available to help you. Number 1, the number one myth that I think, again, this is, everything that I do and everything that I create is built around this foundation, is that I can do this thing on my own. I think that people underestimate how much grief takes over their life, how all-consuming it is. And it's all-consuming in so many ways. It's physically consuming, it's mentally consuming, it's emotionally, obviously, consuming, but it takes over. And it's overwhelming. And I know you know what that feeling is. And so the myth is that I have to do this on my own, and I have to just get through this, and that I have to get back to my normal self. There is no normal self. There is no getting back to who you were or the way life was, because your life is no longer the same as a result of your loss. And that's big change. And I think people underestimate the amount of change it caused. I think that people underestimate how traumatic it can be. And they try to do it alone. And if you're doing it alone now, you're suffering more than you really need to, because it's too hard to do alone. And I'm speaking from personal experience, because I had a period of time where I tried to do it alone. And then I had a period of time where I found the right tools and people to help me, and the things to learn. And so that's everything that I share on these videos and in everything I do, because those tools are what are really going to help you, and it's going to make it hurt less. It's going to help you grieve more quickly. It's going to help you get to a place where you're okay with the loss. And then you've also figured out what's next, because that can be really scary, is because you had an expectation for the way your life was going to go. And now that expectation is no longer there. And you don't have to do it alone. So find the right people, and don't ever stop looking for the right people, whether it's me or someone else, or a therapist or a coach or a book or a mentor that you find online, or good videos that you find online. It doesn't matter. Just don't stop looking, and don't do it yourself. So those are the top 5 myths of grief. I hope that they helped you. Comment below. Let me know what some other myths of grief are. I would love to hear those as well. Take care of you. You are grieving right. You can be happy again. There are things that you can do about it. People do care, and people do understand, and you do not have to do it alone. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.